Cabin Fever is a 2002 horror comedy film co-written and directed by Eli Roth. It is his directorial debut. The movie stars Ryder Strong, Jordan Ladd, James Stabello, Serena Vincent, among others. It was inspired by a time Roth traveled to Iceland only to develop a really harsh rash there. Anyway, it's been a while since we've last reviewed an Eli Roth film, so let's stop wasting time and discuss. The premise of this film revolves around a group of university students, Jeff, Marcy, Paul, Karen, and Bert, respectively played by Kern, Vincent, Stronglad, and DeBello, going out into the woods to a remote cabin for a semester break. While they are getting settled in, Bert encounters a man who is not doing too well. The man's skin seems to be slowly rotting. He is very sick, and the gang soon discovers that something very deadly is spreading throughout the woods. Now they must take every measure possible to make sure they don't contract it. This is a pretty straightforward premise. It's just a group of students going out to a cabin only to have it all corrupted by something sinister in the woods. This isn't the first time we've seen this sort of thing, but what makes Cabin Fever work for me is not only the way the plot develops these characters to actually make you care enough about them to want them to survive, but this premise also feels somewhat realistic as well. The idea of a skin condition that slowly eats away at you is something that doesn't sound too abnormal, and the suspense that derives from this plot because of this contagion all works so well given that it's not like you can see the virus because of the fact that it's microscopic. So it literally made it unclear as to who was going to go next, which ultimately complemented the tension. Also doesn't help that they eventually stir up trouble with the locals, so now they not only have the deadly contagion they have to worry about, but also about the townfolk who are not happy about the damage they brought with them. And it also increases the overall anxiety, given that it decreases the gang's chance of getting any help and takes away any kind of security that they got with the locals. I give premise a B+. It was very intense, but it ultimately made me want to know what was going to happen next and who was going to get it next. Next is acting. I think the acting was probably the best part of this movie, given that it definitely helped emphasize the authenticity of the entire situation. While it wasn't anything too astonishing, I was impressed with just how real it all felt. The terror conveyed by the group worked so well because it actually did feel like they were actually going through these horrible events, as if they were actually convinced that they were going to die. The pain in their voices when they got the contagion also felt very raw, especially Ladd. Since the anguish in their voices, that actually did make it seem like they were legitimately in pain and needed help. I also love the way Giuseppe Andrew portrayed Deputy Winston. Hope I'm saying his name right. You could tell he really did enjoy playing him, and what his performance brought to his character just made him a lot of fun, and probably one of the funniest part of the movie. Of course, this also could be seen as scary, given that he's the only cop for miles while all this shit is going down, and he's about too busy getting it on. Okay, he doesn't fuck anyone, but I feel like if he gets enough in him, beers in him, he'll start to become a little bit sensual. Oh, and Pancake Kid. Gotta love Pancake Kid. I give acting an A. Not the best I've seen, but pretty damn good. It more than does the job of convincing you of the danger these students are in. Finally, directing. I really love the approach Roth took with this film in terms of atmosphere and tone, because I honestly do think that this is quite possibly the scariest film in his lineup, mainly due to the fact that it doesn't feel too unrealistic in some areas, and also due to how much of a threat the monster truly is. It's not some bloodthirsty fanged beast with glowing red eyes or some kind of zombie invasion. It's something that could easily exist given how grounded in reality it truly seems. And the fact that you couldn't see it just increases the horror, since it literally could attack at any moment. And when it does, it's too late for the person involved usually. So that puts these characters into a much more dangerous situation because of that. And the gory scenes were also surprisingly scary, given that it's implied that these people are dying a slow, painful death from catching this deadly disease. And just the idea of something slowly eating you alive from the inside is a very jarring idea. I give directing an A. Overall, Cabin Fever is a better version of the haunting horror episode Spores. The suspense was done a little better, and most of the characters were actually likable and even relatable in some areas, which made me care for them more than the ones in Spores. Out of Cabin Fever and Hostel, I think this might be the best of the ones I've seen from Eli Roth. It has a very unnerving setup and just really just demonstrates just how trapped these students truly are. and all the factors going against them also add to the overall danger they are in. I give Cabin Fever a B+. I really did have a lot of fun watching it and was really impressed with it overall. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and sub for more content.